Well, good afternoon, everybody, to Bulverde Spring Branch Chamber of Commerce's Staying Engaged. This is session 3 for 2021, and we have something fantastic lined up for you today. You know, we began this series all the way back in 2020. I often give love, praise, and appreciation to Rhonda because she acted so quickly in saying, you know what? COVID may be disrupting lives, but we're going to up our game and find another way to get people connected together virtually. And I think, Rhonda, you can just give me a head nod. I think we did the first one of these about the third week of March. And we were off and running, and we carried these pretty much through the end of 2020. And this is session 3 now, everybody, for 2021. We're doing these now about once a month. There may be a few extras we squeeze in there here and there, but let me just say on behalf of the chamber, and I'm not a chamber staff member, I am one of your peers. I'm a proud member of this chamber. I thank you for just taking time out of your busy days to join us, because this is all about you. This is all about keeping us connected with one another and finding ways to serve one another. We have a great guest speaker today. His name is Jim Lee. I'll introduce him in just a moment. But what I'd like to do is just quickly go around the screen. I'm going to call you by first name. I just want you to give your name first and last. Tell everybody who you're with, and then we're going to keep moving, and we'll get to Jim. So, Steve, I'm going to start with you, sir.
Steve Stevenson. I'm with the HIS Center Medical Education.
Thank you so much. John Knotts.
How you doing? I'm John Knotts, and I have 2 businesses with the chamber. One, I'm a personal professional business coach and consultant with Crosscutter Enterprises, and my wife and I own Fine Print Farms, Hill Country Equestrian Destination.
Thank you, John. Jean?
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Jean Williams, and I'm with Tupperware.
Thanks, Jean. You're up next, Aaron.
This is Aaron Henley with Henley and Hodges Law.
Thanks, Aaron. Good having you on. Pat, you're up, and Dean, you're on deck.
Pat Rodriguez with Mary Kay Cosmetics. Hello, gorgeous.
Thanks, Pat. Hey, Dean.
I'm Dean Bunnell. I'm with Legal Shield.
Thank you, sir. Kim Barton, you're up. Mike Johnson, you're on deck.
Hi, I'm Kim Barton. I'm the Executive Director at the Share Center.
Thanks, Kim.
Mike Johnson, San Antonio Print Supplies, your toner and ink provider, and also Mr. W Fireworks Superstore in Bulverde.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Mike. Robert, you're up, and John Hodges, you're on deck.
Robert Evans, Reliance Realty. I help people buy and sell real estate in this area. Call me.
Thanks. Go ahead, John.
John Hodges here with Henley and Hodges Law.
Thanks, John. Good having you on. Mary, you're up, and Tina, you're on deck.
Mary Lou Zellers with the Mammon Family Public Library, Friends of the Mammon Family Public Library.
Yes, thank you, Mary. Tina.
Tina White, Nutrition 46, and I invited Tanya on too. So she's with me.
Hey, very good. Nicole, you're up, and Angie, you're on deck.
Nicole with the Rustic Bean Cafe and Mercantile in Blanco.
Thank you so much. Angie?
Good afternoon. I'm Angie Moreno, and I'm the owner of Clean G Professional Cleaning and Services.
Thank you, Angie. Winnie, you're up, and Tanya, you're on deck.
Hi, my name is Jenny Rathman, and I am one of the owners of Freedom Car Care, where we specialize in mobile oil change and car detailing. So call us to spiffy up your vehicle. Thank you.
Thanks, Winnie. Yep, y'all made my vehicle shine recently.
Good to know. We love having your business.
Thanks.
Hi, Tanya Hedgepeth with Nutrition 46 with Tina.
Thank you, Tanya. Good having you on. Heather, you're up, and Kathy, you're on deck. Heather, you're muted. Maybe you spoke, or maybe you're just temporarily pulled away. There you are.
Yes, it's Holly with Massage Heights. I'm on
Hey.
Heather's computer.
Hey, Holly, thank you. Good having you. Kathy.
Hi, this is Kathy Masterson with Be Connected. I help all the newcomers in the Bulverde area get connected with local businesses and services.
Thank you, Kathy. Amy, you're up. Shondell, you're on deck.
Amy Yarbrough with the Share Center.
Thank you. Shondell.
Shondell Byers, work at ECS Learning Systems.
Awesome. Thanks, Shondell. I was just in the room with you all day yesterday. Well, good part of it.
Yes, you were.
Monica, you're up. Vanessa, you're on deck.
Hi, how are you all doing today? I am representing Rough Diamond Brewery. I do the design for them and also some of their marketing and, you know, all the Instagram posts and the website and all that kind of thing. So lovely to meet you all.
Yeah, thanks, Vanessa. Monica.
Hi, this is Monica. I'm with Faithful Park.
Thank you, Monica. Good to have you. And then last, but well, not quite yet last, but Megan, are you there?
I am. Hi, so sorry I can't share my camera right now. I'm an insurance account rep for Jeremy Fuller State Farm.
Beautiful. Thanks, Megan. And of course, Rhonda, you should go ahead and announce too. I feel like everyone should just automatically know you, but I'm not going to deny you the chance.
I'm Rhonda Zunker. I'm the president of the Bulverde Spring Branch Chamber.
Thank you, Rhonda. Did I miss anybody other than our guest speaker who I'm going to introduce?
Don't think so. I think you got them all.
Okay, beautiful. Everybody, my name is Jay Johnson. I own J2 Servant Leadership. I am a certified coach and consultant, and it's my pleasure today to introduce somebody who makes me look really good in all facets of my business. Jim Lee is an Air Force veteran. He owns a company called RapTap Marketing. We've known each other for about 6 years, believe it or not, and I just have grown to love the way that he communicates a message, helps clients tell stories, and helps them communicate that story through social media and other means. And I think you're in for a great treat today. He certainly came ready to equip you with some tips and tricks, and he's willing to take questions as well. And what I'm going to ask that you do is please mute your lines. He's going to share his screen in just a minute. He'll probably even, Jim, I'll invite you maybe to share a few additional details about yourself. But if you have questions initially, if you'll put them in the chat, I'm going to monitor the chat and I'll tee them up for Jim. And then at the very end, if there's still time, we'll let you just ask him directly. Jim, how about you share a little bit about yourself?
Thank you, Jay. Thank you for asking me. Thank you all for tuning in. It's my sincere hope that this is your time well spent and that I serve you well with this. As Jay mentioned, I'm a retired Air Force veteran. I'm originally from Texas, came back to Texas, loved San Antonio when I was stationed here. Actually worked for IBM for a few years before I started RapTap Marketing. In my 10th year of business, I originally started with social media. I expanded. Now I'm full service agency, do everything from websites, website hosting, maintenance, security, to every type of online ad. Well, almost every type of online ad. I try to focus on those that are most effective and do SEO as well as reputation management, things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen because I want to get started real quick. And hopefully, I do want you to ask questions in the chat if something doesn't make sense, and I will take questions at the end, as Jay said. So he's going to try to get my attention if there's something I need to stop for.
And just real quick, if y'all want to make sure you can see the screen well, just put them in speaker mode, and that way it will show him talking and the screen.
Can everyone see my first slide? Jay, can you see my slide? Okay, let me get started. So, interestingly enough, okay, I'm going to do it this way then. It's not clicking through to the next slide. Let me go to presentation. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to start with customers. Our customers are the reason we exist as businesses, right? And as nonprofits. I was happy to hear a lot of nonprofits here. I may not have quite as much information relevant to you, but I will touch on any questions you have, and some of this will be relevant to you. So if anyone has seen this before, hopefully everyone's seen this before, but this is the first early version of the sales funnel. This is the process people go through when they're introduced to a product or service. They first have an awareness or an attention getting step that makes them aware of a product or service. They may move on to the next step or they may not. If they do, then they develop interest in that product or service. They may never go further than that, but if they do, then they may develop a desire for the product or service. And finally, they may take an action to acquire or avail themselves of the service. So that is the original model. There's numerous variation versions of this. I never liked the fact that it was shaped like a standard funnel because it implies gravity. Well, in a standard funnel, gravity brings everything in the top down to the bottom, and it all just flows right through beautifully, right? That's not really true when we're talking about customers. I like to turn the thing on its side and say, we're trying to get the attention and awareness of everyone here. And so they come into the funnel this way. And so there's no gravity. They may make it to this next step, they may not. They may make it to this next step, they may not. And so in the digital online world, we do things to try to encourage this progression. That is essentially what we're after. Now, that doesn't mean that at any given moment in time, there aren't people already here looking to buy, looking for the right company, looking for the right product or service. However, I want you to be aware that there's people in all four of these stages, and this is how it works. Hopefully you already knew that, but here's a little bit more modern version of it in the digital world at least. And so these words have changed just a little bit, but I want to point out that there are certain things, activities that you do online that are primarily awareness. This is not exclusive, I will tell you, but these things are primarily awareness type things. These things are primarily find you, develop that desire and interest. And these things, and reputation is a really, really big factor in online. We all care about what our neighbors say. If a friend, family, or neighbor tells you something, then it means more to you than not having much information to go on. But in lieu of that, there's this thing that's developed online called crowdsourcing of information. Amazon's been absolutely brilliant at it. And there's studies out there that show how much time people look at reviews before they make a decision to buy something, not only on Amazon, but across the internet. There's one study that says people spend up to as much as 13 minutes looking at reviews on Google, but we'll get to that. So these are the things that drive traffic to a website. I wanted to start here. I thought it was very important for you to see this. And I'm going to start not from the largest to smallest, but I'm going to start from the smallest. So social is in gray. These are different industries here on the left-hand side. And this is how much the top websites get traffic from social. I want you to be aware of that. News, weather, and information makes sense, right? Food and drink makes sense, right? Health and fitness. What do people like talking about? Sports, style, and fashion. These things make sense. But social, as you'll notice, as compared to referral, direct, and search, are a very, very small fraction of what most industries get as traffic from online. The next one is referral. Referral is any click to your website from a link not on your website. So that's what that is. And we'll talk about that more in my presentation. Direct is when somebody already knows about you. So they typed in your URL to your website directly. And search is when they actually found you on a search engine. Direct can also be if you have a bookmark on your computer. But search is by far and away the most likely way that most businesses get traffic to their website. Now, what is not shown here is paid traffic. And so we all know there are different types of online ads. But this is the organic ways to get traffic. And I'm going to start, I'm really trying to focus on what's going to make the most effect for most businesses. And so we start with the evil empire, or the Google empire, as some people know it. And I don't think they're evil. I work with Google frequently. You take the good with the bad. Here is search engine market share worldwide, just to show you Google's dominance. That includes search engines in China and Russia and all others. They are extraordinarily dominant. And so out of that $181 billion that they generated in income in 2020, it might not surprise you to learn, or it may, that 85%, more than 85% of that was advertising revenue. More than 85% of that. So people do click ads. I get asked all the time, yeah, but I don't click the ads. I'm going to show you stats, and this is one of them to prove people are clicking ads at an extraordinary rate. Okay, So let's talk about the basics of what a Google search is before I get into what you can do to improve your visibility online. So if we search for something like dentist in Bulverde, we get a results page. Now this is from a laptop or desktop view, a little bit different in mobile. We'll talk about that in a moment. But there's essentially three main components you see here. There are ads, which are highlighted in red. And I shrunk all this down so you can see it all at once. There's the map section, which I've highlighted in blue. It includes a map and includes listings that are pinned on the map. And then there's the organic 1 through 10 results that has been Google's mainstay since it first began. 10 listings. Now, how do they determine the order of these? And then of course there's page 2 and page 3 and page 4, and there's literally thousands of results for any type of search you do. And oh, by the way, if you search dentist in Bulverde, you'll get a different set of results than if you search Bulverde dentist or Bulverde dentistry or cosmetic dentistry in Bulverde. There's so many different ways people can search for what they have in mind that may be very, very similar or related, and all could be things that that particular dental practice wants to be found for. But just so you have the basic groundwork for what I'm going to talk about later, just know there are ads, there are maps, and there's the organic section. And within the maps, Google recently started putting an ad in there too. So this one highlighted in red is also an ad. Then there's the mobile version of all this. So this looks a little different, but starting from the top of your mobile device, you'll see the ads on top again. Notice that we have call buttons here frequently in the ads. Then you have the mobile section, the map section or local section. I've heard this referred to as numerous different things. Most often I heard it referred to as maps or local. There's that little ad buried in there, but the rest of this is specific to local search results and how they're ranked and stacked. And then you have the organic listings, and Google is always experimenting. So I can't use this same presentation a month from now because something will have changed, but that's the way it is today. And essentially if it changes, it usually changes on the margins. So there's not huge significant changes. So I always try to cite my sources when I provide relevant data, and the sources on this page for these numbers. It's an outstanding study. This data is really good. They explain the methodology of their study. Ads get about 14% of the total clicks on any search results page. Maps section gets about 35% of the clicks. In the organic section, the 1 through 10, gets 51% of the clicks. Let's drill into that just a little bit deeper. Oh, but first let me tell you there's a variation. And the variation is that in 2015, Google experimented with something in San Francisco called home service ads. In 2017, they went public with it and started launching it across the country. It's now called local service ads. It includes a Google guarantee. If a business is willing to sign up, fill out a whole lot of paperwork, do a whole lot of reputation verification stuff, and then Google will guarantee that if someone finds Will Fix It Plumbing or First Call Plumbing, because they found it on Google with a Google guarantee, if something goes wrong, Google will pay up to $2,000 to make it right. That's what a Google guarantee is. Now, these complicate the site picture and the number of clicks a little bit. So on the right-hand side is what I was telling you earlier. If you don't have local service ads, there's the 14%. Here's the 35%. They just broke out map and local results because you can click on the map separately. And then here's the 51% I was telling you for organic. But if you add local service ads to the mix, well, those tend to get about 14% of the clicks. And then you have the ads get a little bit less. The local area maps and local get a little bit less, and organic get a little bit less. But you can see that organic search still gets the largest percentage of clicks as a total in both of these scenarios. And then here's just a breakdown even further. I won't spend much time on this except to say it's still without local service ads on this side, with local service ads on this side. And you can see that if you want to get the most percentage of clicks, you're in the #1 organic position, 27.4%. Next best is the #1 local position at 17. This is not an ad, this is the #1 local. The next best is the #1 ad. This will all be even more relevant in a minute. And this is just going down that same chart to the point where if you see ads at the bottom of the page don't get many clicks, the last few organic results don't get a whole lot of clicks. So you might be interested to know, if you didn't already, that there is an industry that cropped up to try to help people rank very, very highly on Google so they could get all those clicks, because it generates really, really great results in terms of traffic, in terms of online sales, in terms of online leads. And that industry is called search engine optimization. It's an $80 billion industry in 2020. And really, the simplest explanation of it is anything done to improve the ranking of a website in those search results. It's basically consists of three main components. These can get pretty technical, but there's on-page SEO, that's everything you do on the website. Off-page SEO, that's a lot of stuff that's done off of the website that affects the website. And there's technical SEO, which let's just go into those a little bit deeper. I'm not going to go into the technical aspect of this. I just want to draw your attention to the explanations at the bottom. On-page SEO is activities on your website that help search engines better understand and rank your content. It is very, very important, and they're making it even more important every day for content to be very useful to the people who visit your page. The more useful and beneficial that Google deems it to the person who finds your page, the better you're going to rank. So for example, if you want to talk about, if a website talks about the energy efficiency of furnaces, and someone is searching for a new furnace or a furnace replacement, or they want to know if those are energy efficient, Google's going to rank that particular page that has a lot of content on that very well for searches that are specific to that topic. The more content you have on your website that is specific to what your customers want to know, the more likely it is that those pages are going to be ranking highly for that search, provided all these other things are taken care of, such as off-page SEO, which is, I'll get into that a little bit more in a minute, and technical SEO. That has to deal with technical aspects of how Google indexes and crawls your website. That's not really on topic with why we're going here today. I just wanted to give you that background. And one final bit of background before we get into some really good tips. It is important to understand the way people interact with Google. The way they interact with Google is to enter a search term, right? Well, if you got 10 people who all wanted the same thing, how many different ways do you think they would enter their search term? I will tell you, it's probably 10 different ways. There are so many different ways that people can enter searches. And because of that, people have analyzed all the different ways that people search for something. And here's a little analysis that's very, very, very relevant and important for you to understand. And that is the top 100 keywords and the top 500 keywords get more entries per keyword. So let's just say I'm looking for a cosmetic surgeon. Well, that's probably a top 100 keyword. Let's say I'm looking for a cosmetic surgeon who does facelifts. Or a facelift surgeon, facelift cosmetic surgeon. But once my search term starts having more and more words, fewer people are typing that in. But those infrequently typed searches that have more words account for about 70% of all searches in that category. So yeah, you have more people typing in cosmetic surgeon, but you have 70% of people who will type in something that's more detailed. And let me give you a really good example of this. So this is a little fuzzy, I apologize, but shoes, that's one of those headers, big head keywords. Men's shoes, well, that's 2 words. Nike's women's running shoes. Well, now we got 4 words, but there's 2 things that happen. One, that's a long tail keyword. So there's more people who search long tail keywords. 2, this has something called buying intent, or there's a commercial intent to this, because people who search the word shoes, that's so generic. They may not have any intention whatsoever of buying shoes. They may be looking for something quite generic. They may be doing some research. Men's shoes, that's a little more specific. It's not necessarily commercial intent. The longer searches show commercial intent. And so longer searches, when they match up well with content on your website, and that's when you rank well. And that's when you want to rank well, because those are commercial intent searches. So here's one last thing I'll tell you about keywords, and then we'll move into some really good tips for how you can show up better online. So what this is this is a chart, again, all sources provided as often as I possibly could. This is how many visitors a website gets per month. So smaller businesses get fewer visitors per month, right? And so if you get 101 to 1,000 visits per month to your website, the people who search with 5 words or more account for that percentage of your total visits on average. But if you get fewer visits and fewer visits still, what this shows you, just don't focus on the numbers so much as the trend. If you're a smaller business, you're more dependent upon those kinds of searches. And I'll tell you, that's the kind of searches you want anyway, because they have commercial intent, because they're not as competitive, because when there's high competition keywords like cosmetic surgeon San Antonio, everybody and their brother wants to be ranked at the top for that. That's a cosmetic surgeon. And it's very, very costly to get ranked for that. So I've talked enough about keywords. Hopefully I've given you an understanding and appreciation, the foundation for Google and all the different ways it shows results. Some of you may have already known all that. I apologize if you did for the time, but I thought that was necessary for everyone so we could go into the actual tips that I have for you today. And I'm going to start with this. Yes, one more data point, but this is really, really good data that talks about how these are the top ranking factors for local, that map section. And these are the top ranking factors for the organic 1 through 10. I've highlighted 2 of them that I think are the easiest and greatest opportunities for business owners to do for themselves. The first one is Google My Business. Google My Business is the first, most important, highest weighted factor, 25% you see here, for local results. And in organic results, it's still pretty significant. It's the 4th most important at 8, or the 4th most from a weighted perspective. And then review signals is another one I highlighted. And it appears in both. It's more important in local, but it's important in both. And so we're going to talk about those a little bit more today because they have the greatest impact and can help you the most. So Google My Business. Hopefully everyone here who has a business website or a nonprofit website has a Google My Business listing. If you don't, you need to go to this address and you need to set your Google My Business listing up. It's very, they made it very app oriented as well. You go to that website, you can just click Manage Now or Sign In. If you already have access, then this doesn't apply to you. If you don't, there may already be a listing for your business or nonprofit and you just have to claim it. Google will tell you that when you enter the address. So you do all this, you enter your business, you verify your listing. Normally this is a postcard sent to your address in the mail because they want to make sure you're legit. And then every time, I should have told you this earlier, where there's a $sign, I'm telling you that is a tip that can result in, that's worth your time. The $signs are tips that will generate return on investment because these things will help you gain greater visibility and get more results. So, yes.
Hey, you gave me an invite to say, hey, if someone asks a question in the moment when you're covering a topic, to give it to you. Kathy Masterson just typed in the chat, how necessary is it to hire someone to do your SEO work?
I will just tell you, I mean, I'm an SEO agency, so maybe this is a little biased, but I think it's far too complex and far too technical for any person to do on their own. What I'm going to give you today is SEO, but it's SEO that the average person can do that will help impact the local and maps section far more than will impact the organic 1 through 10, but it will have an impact, a very positive impact. How big an impact is likely to depend on the number of competitors you have for your business type in your location. Because more competitors, it's just like any other competitive field. The more contestants there are, the more people you have to outperform. So did I answer that well, you think?
Yeah, she said, thank you, you're doing a great job, and appreciate you giving so far.
Okay, thanks. So you want to optimize your presence. This is really, really, really important, and I'm going to dive deeper into that. But first, I want to tell you this. Average well-maintained Google My Business listing gets 5 times more views than listings that have not been claimed by their owners. That should give you an indication of how important this is. And I already said it's very, very app friendly. I'm going to compare both versions. Here's the way it looks when you log in on a desktop or laptop. Here's the way it looks when you log in on the app. And you see the $, get excited, because here's the thing you want to do first after you claim your listing. You go to this info tab and you're going to scroll down the page, and everywhere it has an input, you're going to make an input. If it's relevant to your business, you want your business to show up. You want to make sure all this is input, that there's content there that's correct, and it's going to really, really help you. And if I go back to, I'm going to jump around here, apologize. If I go back to, where's my little slide? I want this one. Okay, so when we said these were the top ranking signals, proximity is very important. So Google is going to show, to a large degree, businesses that are close to you when you're searching on the maps area. They've inferred that if you're looking in the maps area, you want something close to you. So proximity is a factor. It's a very significant factor. Is it the only factor? No, there are other factors to be sure. And one of them, the next one, is categories. So what does that mean? Well, we were just on the categories section of Google My Business. And here's what I want you to know. Take your time with this. There's not a user-friendly way to search the categories. You literally have to start typing something in. And if it doesn't show up, it's not in their category library, if you will. And so you can't use that. You have to keep typing until you find something that matches who your business is, what your business is, as best you can. Get the best possible fit in the primary category position, because you can have a primary category and you can have numerous secondary categories. But I'm going to give you a heads up right now. You really don't want more than 2 or 3 secondary categories at most, because if you have too many categories, that kind of has a diluting effect, and you won't show up as well for that primary and the other secondaries because you just have so many. So you're really, really good. Again, a money tip is get that top category that you pick, that primary category, to be the closest possible match you can to what your business is. And then make, again, 2 or 3 at most secondary categories that also speak to your company, your products, your services. Okay, next thing, again, along the lines of identifying, updating this information. You can also, in the info tab, update services, put all your services. Here's a lot of services. Now here you can put as many as you want. So this is from my Google My Business listing, and I put quite a few. I have veteran-led in this section that allows you to put veteran-led, Black-owned, women-led. I think there may be one other category there. There's attributes for health and safety. Most of those relate to COVID. Service options. None of those applied to me, but again, in every single one of these sections, you want to look at it and see if it applies to you. Oops, sorry, I jumped around. Business description. I see so many people who don't put a business description. So just so you know, another thing that matches up when people are doing a search is the services and the business description words you use. So the more keywords you have in your services and business description, the better you're giving yourself an opportunity to rank higher in that Google My Business local maps section. Okay, so the next thing I want to tell you is photos. Photos are very, very, very significant. We in our SEO, one of the things we do that the average person could do, so take this and run with it, is add photos frequently to your profile. As you can see here, businesses that add photos get 42% more requests for directions and 35% more clicks to their websites. So that is an SEO function. It's an easy one that anyone can do, and you should be doing it. It will help you. Hence the $. Okay. Next is, I just wanted to show you real quick on the app. When you go to the homepage on the app, you have to go to the, it says post to your business profile. To be able to post photos, you have to grant access to your camera roll. That's pretty standard. Most people are familiar with that. But then in the profile section, there's a photos tab. So you have to use kind of the bottom is the main menu, just to give you a tip if you don't already, if you're already familiar with this. And then once you're in profile, then you can select from among the top and you can pick photos and add photos there directly from your mobile device.
Hey, Jim.
Yes.
Rhonda asked, I know you said post photos often, but she's asking how often really? I mean, should it be a weekly endeavor or every couple weeks? Does it matter, or just as frequently as you can think about it?
So that's a great question, because I completely failed to tell you something that's really important. Stock photos are okay. Custom photos that are from you are better. It's a good idea not to remove the geotagging from the photo. For people who know how to, you can go into your phone and say, I don't want the record of this photo to show where it was taken, the time it was taken, the date it was taken. For photos you upload here, that geotagging is actually beneficial. And then I would suggest to Rhonda and everyone else that you probably want to update pictures at least once a week. I would say a minimum of 1 picture a week. If you do it 2 or 3 times a week, 1 picture, even better. And then we're going to get into posts next. And so you're going to have an opportunity to see, sometimes you'll just post a picture, sometimes you'll actually do a post. So let's get into that now. So posts, again, money sign. Yes, just like on Facebook, you can post a message, a picture, a link, verbiage, a headline, all to Google My Business. And it will actually show up in your Google listing. The only difference is on Facebook, you've got that long history of posts. When you post something new to Google My Business, it will overwrite your most recent post for what's showing up when people go to your listing. So there's also a section in posts, and I think I have it on my next slide, where you can, maybe it's on the slide after that. Well, you can see here where there's an example where they did an offer, right? So you can do offers in posts too. And Google My Business will walk you through how to set that up. Here it is. It's under home. And so when you're given permission to do photos, you can also set up offers, you can set up events. So offers show up as a post as well, and they show up in your listing. And so that's another nice thing you can do to help yourself gain attention and potentially get new business. So I recommend you do posts probably about once a week, I think is sufficient. Reviews. Okay, going back to, well, I'm not going to go back to it, but that one page where I highlighted how important GMB is to local results and to organic results. The second thing I highlighted was reviews. And reviews are super important, and great accessibility in Google My Business to reviews, both desktop, laptop, and mobile. You can go straight to the reviews tab. You can read the reviews, and you can reply right here. And let me tell you, do not underestimate the value of replying. I'm going to talk about that quite a bit here in a second. This is how you do it on mobile device. You go to the reviews tab. You can see all your reviews. If I wanted to click on Mr. Bateman here, it pops up with Mr. Bateman's review and an opportunity for me to reply right there. Again, very, very important that you do that. Here's a Harvard Business Review study that showed that replying to reviews resulted in better overall ratings. Who would have guessed that? Well, the restaurant industry was what clued them into the fact that it was happening. When restaurants were responding to reviews, their average review rating actually went up. And so they did a broad study, and they found that, in fact, restaurants and so then they made it a broader study and looked at other industries as well, and they concluded that, yeah, businesses that reply to reviews, even if it's a short thank you for a positive review, but it's really important to reply to both kinds of reviews. And I have some tips for you on how to reply to negative reviews a little bit later. But replying, very, very, very helpful to your online presence. Because that overall review rating, so here's how this works. Reply to a review. Keep doing it. Your overall rating goes up a little bit. Your overall rating is a factor in your ranking on how high you appear on that Google results list. The higher you appear, the more clicks you get. The more clicks you get, the more leads you get. And it all started with replying to reviews. And here's a link. I'm going to share all this with you, by the way. But 5 principles for responding to customer reviews. And this goes in depth pretty good on responding to negative reviews as well. And it's also from Harvard Business Review. So proactive Google review management. I really want to stress this because it's something that anyone can do, every business should do, and that is be proactive in requesting reviews from your customers and be timely about it. All the data shows, and I think it's just common sense. If you ask somebody right after you completed delivery of a service or they've acquired their product, that's usually the best time to ask them. And it's usually the time when you'll get the most reviews actually left for you. I would automate that process. There's a number of both company softwares. We do it, but lots of companies do it. You could set up your own process for just sending an email or a text request. But however you do it, be proactive about it. Digital methods do work best. Here's what I mean by that. I'm a plumber. I'm a good guy. I do great work. I'm leaving your house after I just fixed your problem. You're very happy with me. And I can ask you to leave a review for me. And with all the great intentions in the world, you'll say yes, and you will have those great intentions. But guess what? You get busy, you go about your day, it's not convenient, you didn't think to go look up the plumber's website or look him up on Google to find that place where you can leave the review, whereas a digital method just sends that direct link via email or text. Here's my review link, please leave me a review. You make it easy for them. You do it on a timely basis. The next thing is always reply to reviews. We already talked about that. I would note it's very helpful to use keywords in your replies. Very, very helpful. And businesses can and should use those reviews as marketing assets. They're marketing assets. This is a testimonial from somebody. If it's a positive review, it's a testimonial about your company, your product, your services. And so use that. Use that on your website. Use it on your Facebook page. Use it wherever you can to help promote how great your business is.
Hey, Jim, another question was posted.
Okay.
Winnie is asking about having numerous social media sites connected to their business. And she's asking, how do you get customers to leave reviews across multiple without feeling like you're bugging them with multiple? Or do you recommend that you just kind of alternate it and you try to grab different favorable comments, and some you post to Yelp, some to Facebook, some to wherever it may be? What advice do you have?
It's a really good question, and the information I'm going to give you is based on my experience, both with our review system and all the other review systems I've seen. Most of them, including ours, visually give a preference to Google because you get more benefit from a Google review usually than most other reviews. Now, it depends on your business and your industry, but by and large, Google reviews are more valuable to more people. So when there's a visual cue to leave a review for Google, and then there's smaller visual cues. You could also pick Facebook, you could pick Yelp, you could pick Yellow Pages, you could pick TripAdvisor, whatever is relevant to your industry. That way you're giving them multiple opportunities. However, Yelp has enacted some funny rules where they don't like people trying to influence people to leave reviews on Yelp. So we typically don't include Yelp in that menu, if you will, of review sites that people can leave a review on. But that's the approach we do. And now that's a system approach. If you're going to do it for yourself, I would just provide the link to 2 or 3 review sites that you're happy to get reviews from. I will tell you that social media, in my opinion, and I back it up with a lot of data, organic social media, as we saw earlier, is not very effective for most business types. If your business type is different, then by all means, try to get those reviews on your social media. So I think I answered that pretty good. Let's move on. Okay, I have just a few more tips for you, then I'm gonna wrap up. Link signals. This is something that is very, very highly ranked as both factors. It's a little harder than what I've shown you thus far, but only a little. And I have total faith that everyone can do this. And here's what it is. There's all these sites that are essentially considered business directories. We already talked about Google. It's Google My Business. But these sites have different authority in Google's hierarchy and algorithm of how it ranks things. And so you want to start with a high authority directories. And you go to each one of these local business directories and you ensure that you show up there. Ensure that you have a Facebook page. Ensure that you show up on Apple Maps. That one surprises a lot of people, but that has really high authority in Google. Google My Business, we talked about, LinkedIn, Bing, Yelp. But this website has 57 different online local business directories. So again, you're going to get this presentation. Go there. And I didn't want to put 57 different dollar signs, but think of it that way. Every time you sign up for one of these, you're helping people. You're doing two things for yourself. One, you're helping people find your website from that directory listing on that directory. And two, you're improving your overall SEO so that you're going to show up better on local map listings, as we talked about, and on organic map listings, number one, and number two, signals. Okay. Next thing I want to tell you just real quick is Google in 2019 went to a mobile first indexing. What does that mean? It means that when they look at your website, they look at the mobile version first. And they look at the mobile version predominantly. And so if your mobile version is different from your desktop laptop version, if you didn't show all your pages on your mobile version, or there are differences in the way things are set up, you potentially could have pages that won't show up because of that. So it's really important to know that. And it's really important to use this site to see if your web page is mobile friendly. Now, this is a little bit different, but it's very highly related. You definitely want to check and just ensure. Most websites I see these days are mobile friendly, but you definitely want to make sure that's the case. And so here's just, just test that, make sure yours is mobile friendly. And that concludes what I have. I'd be happy to entertain questions. Like I said, everybody can have a copy of this. And I really tried to give you the things I think you can do that are easy for anyone to do to increase your presence and get you more visibility online, get your traffic, get your website more traffic.
Thanks, Jim. I really appreciate that. I've got another question somebody posted to ask you. But I want to thank you for your time and information. I mean, as long as I've been working with you, there were still some things I just learned there. And the thing that I think I can share as a testimonial about you is I've got several friends and clients that have utilized you, and I've heard several of them say in the room with me, you did such an effective job for them that they almost can't take new business. And so I say that only in the most complimentary way, right? Because you were really good at what you do, and their businesses have been inundated with people reaching out to them for, for assistance. So the last couple questions that were posted, Jim, in the chat, Monica asked about Nextdoor. Any comments, feelings about Nextdoor?
Yeah, I actually love Nextdoor. I'm a Nextdoor user. I think, the more ways people can find you, I can tell you that even though I said social media organically doesn't work well, there's exceptions to everything. And so I know people who built their business tremendously by using Facebook groups. So there are ways to go about doing everything. The more ways people can find you. So I don't know specifically how she intends to use Nextdoor. You can certainly do Nextdoor ads like you can on every platform. You can also do it organically by putting your business on there. I do recommend you do everything free that they offer, but also I know people can leave ratings on Nextdoor as well. And so just to make sure that you're available to have ratings left for you. And also, if you have friends that leave your ratings, all the better, right? Or customers.
The last question, Jim, Kim asked, can you post the mobile friendly test address? Is it possible to put that in the chat so that they can have that? This chat box or dialogue, all of it, will go out to them via email. They'll have it all, or maybe you just can say it. I don't know.
It's right here, but I'm going to do exactly what she asked.
Okay.
And then, like I said, everyone can have a copy of this.
Yeah.
I'll put it to you, and you can share it the best way.
Thank you, Jim. Yeah, everybody, he's going to provide the slides, the presentation. I hope you all will post in the comments, express your love and appreciation for him taking time out today. Jim, if people want to get in touch with you, how do they reach you?
So my website is raptapmarketing.com. My phone number is, I'll put it in the chat as well. My phone number is 210-860-7060. There's also a tool on my website where you can go and get your online reputation score or online reputation analysis. And I do a couple of things for free for people. One is I'll pull up a list of all the listings that I'm able to find for you. It's an automated tool, but it's pretty comprehensive. It'll show you those directories I was talking about. It'll show you every directory you can find for your business. And then I also will do a website audit on a kind of a high level. We can go deeper if you're really interested in talking about any kind of service, but the high level audit's still very, very informative and very helpful, and I'm more than happy to do that for anyone. Last thing is keywords research. I'll do a keyword research for anyone as well. That will tell you, give me a few keywords of products or services you offer, give me your city, and I'll let you know what people are you searching for in your city that is being searched most often. That's really, really, really good business intelligence, and I'm happy to provide that for anyone.
And one more time, Jim, someone asked for you to give your phone number one more time. You said it kind of fast a minute ago.
I'm sorry. 210-860-7060.
Jim, thank you again on behalf of all the members here in our incredible chamber. You taking the time. I hope you'll stick with us. Scroll through the chat real quick, Jim. See some of the appreciation being expressed in there from members. But thank you for everything that you delivered to all of us today. We value you and your time.
Thank you for inviting me. I wish you all a great day, and I hope I delivered some value to you.
Thank you, Jim. Rhonda, I'm going to turn back to you. We're about 5 minutes till the top of the hour, and we've always got some chamber updates to pass along.
Yes, just want to invite all of y'all to join us next Wednesday morning. Mr. John Knotts, who is on the call with us today, he will be presenting kind of an individual preparedness. Yes, it's after the disaster, but now it's time to sit down and think about what you need to be prepared, what you need to gather to be prepared for the next time, whatever might happen. Is that kind of in the right direction, Mr. John?
Yeah, exactly. So it's actually a session to actually walk you through creating a preparedness plan, whether you call it a disaster plan or a contingency plan, risk management plan, but how you go about doing that to be prepared when something happens that you don't expect. And that happens all the time here in Texas. Yes, last week or 2 weeks ago, the Snowmageddon was quite horrible, but we get freezing here in the Hill Country every year. We get flooding here in the Hill Country every year. So there is a way to be prepared for that, and I'm going to teach that.
Very good. So that would be at the Coffee with the Chamber next Wednesday morning. We open the lines about 7:30 for some networking, and we're going to try to do some breakout rooms where you get one-on-one with some people. And then John will start, we'll do some introductions, and John will start right around 8:05 or so. So make sure you join us for that. The following Wednesday, we will be doing our power lunch. And let me go back. The coffee will be in person, but we will have an online access also. And then the following Wednesday, we will have the power lunch, and that will be also in person at the Bulverde Visitor and Event Center. And that will be on the 17th. Ray Martinez with Natural Bridge Caverns. It's totally a different subject, but it's 2021 is the year of caves and karst, and they are going to enlighten us on how the development in our area may or may not be affecting the natural resources that we have out here in this area. So looking forward to that. Do want to make sure everyone saw that the clay shoot that was scheduled for March 25th has been postponed until April 29th. So that will be a big fun event, and we will be ending the day. The clay shoot actually goes from 2 to 5, and then at 5 we will start a mixer. So we're inviting the whole community out to join us in celebrating the day that we had at the clay shoot. And then we'll have some kind of good food out there, some libations, and lots of fun, and you'll be outdoors and be able to enjoy yourself. So with that, I'm going to turn it back to Jay, and however you want to end this call today, and thank y'all all for joining us. If you have any, I will be sending out the recording of this, the chat with this, and Jim's presentation, and some other fun things that I'm going to send with it. But if y'all have any requests on more specific, detailed training that you'd like, please respond to that email so that we can make sure that we're providing you what you want. Yes, Pat, thank you for reminding me. We do have women in business. There's several business women owners of businesses on this call. Women in Business will be next Tuesday, the 9th. It is at Park 31, the event venue out on Park Branch Road that goes out to Guadalupe River State Park. It is from 6:30 to 8:30 on Tuesday night. So if you haven't registered for it, please go in and register for that event so that we can make sure we have enough food and drinks for everybody. So with that, Jay, you're up.
Okay. Hey, listen again, everybody. We know how busy you are. We know we've all just come through a really tough weather event. There are still some people out there hurting, struggling. Look, the of these sessions about staying engaged. It's not just about getting together in this time and space. We love that you join us here. We do ask that you just continue to keep your neighbors, your friends, your colleagues, your peers, everyone in the community in mind. And when someone has a need, if you're running out to pick something up, maybe give them a call. Just see if there's something you can grab for them. Feel free to share back with the chamber. Keep them in the loop on what's going on. They do an amazing job of sharing information, but you know what they can't share is information they don't have. So join us every month for these sessions. We'll continue to try to bring things that add value to each and every one of you. On behalf of the chamber staff, thank you for joining us. We look forward to seeing you soon. Stay safe. Have an amazing weekend. Bye, everybody.
Have a great day.